Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally here to set up my budget for the month of September. I'm gonna say it, I'm really excited. I always say I'm excited, but this month is kind of still, I want to say, an adapting month to living in my first apartment. So there is, I think, one category that I don't quite sure know how much it's going to be. And I didn't have to pay for it in August, of course, but we are going to get billed for it in September. And so I haven't received the bill for that yet in the mail. So at the time that I'm filming this video, I really don't know how much I have to pay towards that, but it's still going to be a category in my monthly budget for this month. So let me go ahead and get started. I had a little hair here, sorry. I am going to be using for today my budget planner here, which is the Plum paper monthly planner. I'm still going to be working on that video for you guys to see how to order things from Plum paper, specifically things that I have here with me. But let's go ahead and get started. This is my monthly view, which I'm not going to be setting up just yet, but stay tuned for the next couple of videos because I will end up setting up pretty much all of the pages in my budget planner, or all the monthly pages. So if you guys don't know about the Plum paper monthly planners, they do come with a ton of pages. At the top here I can count, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, because this last one is part of September. In the past, I have not filled out every single page in the monthly section just because I haven't had the need to, but I really love how it comes with this many pages. And I know for this month I am going to be using more pages than I did in August because I will be closing out my moving out budget, which if you guys are interested in that, make sure you stay tuned. There has been a lot of expenses for that, so that should be a good video. But for today, I'm going to be setting up my monthly budget on the page right after the monthly view on the right side. This is typically where I've been setting it up since I started budgeting on camera here in 2018, and that's kind of where it has always been. And I'm kind of already used to it being here, and I'm somebody that really doesn't like change, so here we are. So as always, I have already created my mock budget for this month in my softbound notebook. I'm already there, and I also do have my stickers that I'll be using for today. I have pretty much all of the stickers that I need for September in my little folder there. I am going to be using the floral pattern for September alongside the correlating budget kit. I do like to use the budget kit, which separates your expenses by variable and fixed, but I do offer, as always, just all of your expenses together as well. So these are something that you guys are interested in. You're interested in sticker planning, sticker budgeting, all of that. I will leave a link for my shop down below. It's so funny. I just ran out of the whiteout I had. So so I had to go get a new one, but that's that. I will go ahead and just off the bat set up my header here. So I am, if you guys don't know already, using the 7x9 Plum paper monthly planner. I know I mentioned I am using the Plum paper planner, but I don't think I mentioned the size, which is something that I get asked quite a bit. So I'm going to start with my income header here, as well as laying down the September budget script. I really love how this design came out with the whole budget kit. Oh, it looks so good. I love these colors, and I think it's definitely a transition from like summer to fall, which I can't even believe we're in September already. It's kind of crazy. There's going to be a lot going on this month. I have my little brother's birthday, I have mine and Paul's 3rd year anniversary, I have a couple of other birthdays, and I do have eyelash appointments now because I did start getting my eyelashes done in August, and I've got to say that I am in love with eyelash extensions. It was my first time getting them done in August, and I don't know, I just can't go back, I think, because I just love how I look in them so much. And if you guys have been watching like my weekly vlogs, both on mine as well as my boyfriend's channel, then you guys kind of know how those look. I've gotten a lot of compliments from you guys, so thank you for that, for hyping me up as always. But yeah, let's get back to the budget. So for my income sources, I have 2 sources of income. The first one, which is my main source, is my shop. So what it is that I do, or how I go about my sticker my sticker shop income is I like to pay myself once a month an amount that I know for sure is going to pay all of my bills that I may have, along with any unexpected expenses, and some to either put towards savings or towards debt. And so this is the first source that I'm going to be adding in my budget. So that I just categorize as Romina Rosa. I don't like to keep every single penny that goes into my shop, just because if you guys don't know, if you guys are new, I do have kind of like employees, I want to say, those being family like my sister Ivana, my sister Natalie, and hopefully soon even my mom. So I do have to make sure that I have enough money to, cover for their paychecks, all the materials that I have to buy for my shop on a monthly basis, as well as just investments that I'm making towards my shop at this point. I am going to be coming out with a lot more things, so be on the lookout for that in the next couple of weeks, months, and whatnot. So that's kind of why I don't like to keep every single penny that goes into my shop, but rather just separate what's my shop's and what's mine. And the second one is variable, which if you guys are also new, then this would be any variable income that may come from either YouTube or Patreon and whatnot. I have been saying that I'm going to be selling some of my planner supplies and things like that, but I just did not have time in the month of August, or by the time that I'm filming this, there was just no way that I was going to make that happen. So I do apologize for that, but I do still want to sell a lot of my things because I'm making room in my office for some new materials and whatnot. So this is the total section for my income. I don't like to disclose my income. It's just a personal preference, and it's kind of what's been working out for me ever since I started budgeting here on YouTube. And that's kind of how we're going to keep it for now. Since I do have like a fixed amount that I receive from my shop, I do think that maybe in the future I will disclose how much that all is. But as of now, that's kind of what's been working for me. I don't really have time to, let's say, make big decisions like disclosing my income right now. I'm kind of focused on other things, like not spending so much money on groceries, because like you guys know, this was my first month, or August was my first month in my new apartment, and I was over budget in groceries, which is something that I've never been over budget in. But I mean, I do understand that, I did have to buy a ton of things that I wouldn't typically have to buy in the past. And so for this month, I'm going to be increasing it a little bit for that, as well as for other things like beauty, so that way my eyelash appointments are covered. But everything else is pretty standard, I would say. So let's go ahead and get started with my categories. I'm going to start with my variable expenses, which first and foremost, I like to put down my cash envelopes. So the cash envelopes that I have, or that I like to track in my budget, are groceries, which is just what I was mentioning. Last month, I budgeted around $260, and I thought that that was going to be okay, since in the past I would budget around like $225 to $230, but that didn't seem to be enough. So for this month, I am going to be increasing it a little bit more, like I mentioned. So I'm going to be budgeting $275. I am not 100% sure if that's going to be enough. I didn't want to, bite the bullet and just budget $300, because I think that that's a little bit excessive, especially because I'm not the only one contributing to the groceries, but Paul is as well. The way that we're going about paying groceries and household items is I'll pay for one trip and he'll pay for the trip the next week, and so on and so forth. That's kind of how we've been doing things, and I know a couple people actually have mentioned that they do the same thing. So we're still going to see how it goes, and I think $275 should be okay, but that's what I said last month, and that wasn't okay, but we'll see. Next up is my eating out category, and for my eating out, I have been budgeting. I think I brought it down to 100 last month, and that turned out to be pretty okay, so I am just going to be doing 100 for this month as well. I am doing really good with like cooking at home, and I think that's why my groceries have been so high. So I do understand kind of, where all of that comes from, because if I wasn't spending so much on groceries, I'd probably be spending more on eating out. but I haven't been because, like I mentioned, I've been cooking quite a bit. So it's just things that you have to realize, and you also notice patterns as you're budgeting from month to month and kind of see like which months you spent the most. Like I know for sure, like for let's say like the month of November, Thanksgiving is coming up, and if I want to make like a dish, or if I'm hosting anybody at my apartment, then I have to take that into consideration. So you really have to look at everything that's going on, not only in your month, but also if there's any like holidays coming up and whatnot. The next cash envelope category that I have here is household, which was also a new one last month. Last month I budgeted $150, and you'll see if I was over or not. But I think for this month I'm just going to budget $100, just because it's probably going to cover things like toilet paper, laundry detergent. We only ended up buying that once last month, so I think 100 should be fine. I don't want to give myself too much money, and I kind of do want to be a little bit more strict with my budget this month. And as you know, more holidays come up, I'm probably going to have kind of a bigger expense coming up in the month of October, I want to say. So next category is gas, and for gas I was pretty good with the $80 that I budgeted for gas last month, so I'm going to keep it the same for this month, so $80. Then we have allowance, and for allowance I've always gave myself $100 for the month, and that turns out to be okay. I could, you know, give myself a little bit more, but I do also have a category in my sinking funds for clothing, and I do like to stuff that a little bit more than other people, and so I think that $100 is fine for allowance for me. Then we have beauty, which is my last cash envelope that I like to weekly check-in with, and for this I'm going to be budgeting a lot more that I've been budgeting the past couple of months, and that is because I'm going to be having eyelash appointments, as well as, if you guys don't know, I do dye my hair red, and so all of that does add up. And for this month I'm going to be budgeting $200 for that. So beauty's gonna get $200, and then next up I have my other categories like my phone bill, and for phone bill I've been pretty much budgeting the same amount for the past like 2 or 3 months. So I think next month I will move it over to my fixed expenses side. I think we'll see. Next I have a category I added once again when I moved into my apartment, and that is renter's insurance. I want to say that it's going to be the same amount that it was last month, but I did get an email saying that I accidentally did not put my unit number, so they just wanted to make sure that that was the amount that I should be paying. I don't know how that happened, but so for that reason I'm still going to be putting it in my variable expense side, and then we'll see. But I'm budgeting $11 for that. Next is internet, and I do pay for that myself. We do like to split the utilities between me and my boyfriend, so I take care of internet, electricity, renter's insurance, and my part of the rent, and then he takes care of the rest. So for internet, I believe that it should be around $70. It might be like $69 with some change. So I'm budgeting $70 for internet. And then the last kind of real category that I'll have here is electricity, and I'm not going to be budgeting anything for it yet, just because, like I mentioned, I haven't received my bill for electricity yet, at least not at the time that I'm filming this video. So I'm going to give it a couple of days. I will check back in with you guys probably in my weekly check-in to let you guys know how much that ended up being. But like I mentioned, the electricity bill does have other utilities. I want to say it has like trash and whatnot, but I'm only going to be, I think, paying for the electricity part of it. I think that's kind of what me and Paul agreed on. So that's going to be blank for now. And then last but not least, I do like to have a section for any unbudgeted expenses that may happen throughout the month. And for that, I don't budget anything. Otherwise, I'd probably use up that money to buy unnecessary things. So now I'm just going to lay down my totals header here. I am going to skip a line just in case I'm missing something. And in the past I have, like, let's say budgeted for a birthdays category or an anniversary category for the month of September, but I'm not going to be doing that this month just because I do have money saved in my sinking funds, which I'm so glad that I do, and that I don't have to account for those in my actual monthly budget. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to my fixed expenses side. I think I'm going to move the sticker just a little bit to the left. And the first fixed expense that I have here is my rent. So my part of the rent is $800. Next one is car payment. I do pay $348.06 for car payment. A new category that I'm going to be adding to my actual monthly budget, instead of having it as a sinking fund, is my car insurance. I have been having it as a sinking fund, even though I do pay for this on a monthly basis, just because I used to like to have cash since I paid my dad for my car insurance. And so now that I don't live with my dad, I thought that it would just be easier to transfer him the money from my account rather than handing him the cash. So that's kind of why I'm moving it from my sinking funds to my monthly budget spread. And so for this, I pay $200. Next, I have a subscriptions category, and this is just for iCloud storage as well as for my part of the Spotify family plan that I am under with my sister. Oops. So that's, sorry, I'm like putting $4 because I was thinking of the Spotify plan, but it's actually $6.99 for both of those. So $6.99 for subscriptions. Next, I have my student loan minimum payment, and that is always $130.77. I have a category which in the past has always been my tithe category, but as of lately I have decided to change it from tithe to giving. The main reason being is because I know that the amount that I typically budget for tithe is in the 10% that it's intended to be, and so I kind of just wanted to change it from tithe to giving. I really actually like this name because it doesn't tie me down to what an amount should be for that, but I could also give it to those in need. I do like to help out people that need it, and so I thought that this would be nice to, let's say if somebody in my church is struggling, that I can, contribute just a little bit of that giving money towards that, or just instances like that. And with COVID going on and all of that, I do think that I want to start donating money to different places, and that's kind of why I changed it from tithe to giving. That was such a long explanation, but it's still going to be $150 for that. After giving is my sinking funds, and for my sinking funds I'm going to be budgeting, or the amount for that is going to be $699. It's not as much as before just because I don't have to account for car insurance anymore, so it's kind of around the same amount that I would typically stuff my sinking funds with. And then last but not least is my extra debt payment category, and that is going to be left blank because I do like to go at the end of the month and kind of see how much extra money it is that I have for my shop, and from that make that extra debt payment with that. So I do use any extra income from my shop that I may have at the end of the month to put towards my debt. And if you guys did not know, if you guys haven't watched any of my debt snowball videos, I am working towards paying one of my student loans now, which I'm really excited about. And I think I am now going to lay down the total section for the fixed expenses side, like so. Perfect. And now that I have all of my expenses here, I can't necessarily, total it up because I am missing some amounts here, but I'm going to total it up as of now so you guys can kind of get an idea of the total of my expenses. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add all of my totals here. So we have 275 plus 100, 180, 100, 200, 110, 1170. And of course I do have like an empty space here for electricity, but so far for variable expenses I am at $1,046, and then for fixed expenses we are at 200, 699, 130.77, 150, and 699. We are at $2,334 with 82 cents. Also missing my extra debt payment, but if I go ahead and add both my variable and fixed expenses, this is the total that I have for them. So in total, all of my expenses thus far is $3,380 with 82 cents, which is actually not that bad. And it does give me some room to save some money. So of course you guys don't know exactly how much, but just know that I do have some potential savings in here. So now that I'm done adding those up, I'm going to lay down my totals little section at the bottom of my expenses. So in here I have the totals header, and what I will put in here is my income minus my variable and fixed expenses. So I'll put income, variable, and fixed. And of course I can't actually write anything in any of these because I am missing some parts of course here, but I will add those up throughout the month or at the end of the month once I close out my September budget. And if you guys are interested in seeing how it is that I go about closing a monthly budget, I will have my August budget results video coming really soon. And then from that, I will go ahead and subtract, like I mentioned, all of my expenses from my income right here. And whatever money I have left over, I will use this little squared off pattern box to write down how much money it is I'm either saving, putting towards debt, or any of that. It really just depends on what financial goals you have. And then I just like to use little deco to decorate my spread. And that is pretty much going to be it for this September monthly budget setup. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry that I couldn't have totals for you guys, but this is kind of at the point that I am in the month or in life really with moving into my new apartment. There's still like some missing pieces here and there because I haven't been living in here for that long. But like I mentioned, I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please do not forget to give this video a huge thumbs up if you did, as well as subscribe to my channel if you guys are not subscribed already. And hopefully I will get to see you guys on my next video. Bye guys!